Today we are going to discuss about the practice of perception of psychic centers in Preksha-Dhyan system. As we have already discussed, our personality mainly consists of two elements. The one is the psychic element, the other is the physical element. The self or the soul or the consciousness, they constitute our psychic element, which is in itself completely separate from the physical existence. Our body is a physical existence with all the organs and the material of which the body is made up of, constitute the physical existence of our personality, whereas the field of consciousness, which is present everywhere in the body, constitutes our psychical existence. Now, in the body, there are certain places which have got more powerful energy fields or forces than the other parts, and they play a dominant role in the functioning of our body. Especially some of the endocrine glands which are situated at separate places in the body, they have a very prominent and dominant role in all our activities of life, even our personality, our behavior, our attitude. All these things are in fact controlled and organized by the endocrine glands or the effects of the endocrine glands. So it is clear that certain places in the body have more importance than the other parts. In the same way, when we talk of the psychic existence in our personality, then in this also there are certain places which are more prominent, eminent and more powerful than other parts, and these places or these points, they are called as psychic centers. Psychic centers are essentially situated in our self, in our consciousness, in our psychical existence. In the system of Ayurvedic medicine, they also have termed certain places of our body by the name of Marnasthan. According to their concept, these Marnasthans are very prominent places, very effective, and they possess the key to various activities of our life. So, in nutshell, we can conclude that the places where our consciousness has a powerful role to play, that is called the psychic center, are very important in the functioning of our body as well as our soul or self. In meditation system, our main purpose is to free the soul or the self from its impurities, to purge the soul of its impurities and make it purer and purer, so that all contaminations which have vitiated our psychic existence can become free from it. This is actually the main purpose or the main aim in our spiritual practices. Now when we talk of psychic centers or the perception of psychic centers, what we mean is to concentrate the mind on these centers wherever they are situated in our body and related with our psychic existence. We just perceive them by concentrating our conscious attention on it, and with the help of our pure perception, that is preksha, we can bring about a change in their functioning, and we can get rid of the malfunctioning of these centers and make our soul a pure existence, free from the effect of the contaminations which otherwise produce the emotions and urges in ourself, which again become the cause of such activities which are responsible for contaminating the self, and so on. The process goes on and on as a vicious circle. This is actually the philosophy of spiritual practices. The contamination is termed as karma or the karmic bondage. They are actually made up of very, very fine physical particles, subatomic particles, and they have got a very powerful influence on the self, so that because of the effect of these karmic bondage, the soul indulges in all sorts of such activities which again cause more bondage, and so on. The process goes on repeating again and again without any end. So in our practice of perception of psychic centers, what we want to do is to bring about a total change in this cycle, vicious circle, in which a soul may not be influenced by the effect of the karmic contamination which produces the delusion, which produces the urges and impulses which are negative in nature and which cause again more bondage. Now let us see how these psychic centers are related with the endocrine glands or the nervous plexus or centers situated in the body. In the scientific concept, the endocrine glands are actually anatomical structures made up of special cells and are situated at different places in the body. Although they are situated at different places, they have got a interrelation, a complete systematic working and functioning, so that the medical term for endocrine system is endocrine orchestra, as it is called. You know, in orchestra there may be different people using different types of instruments to produce music, but all of them are related with each other and they produce the same type of rhythm and tune which is desired for producing. So in the same way, the endocrine glands, in spite of having their different places and functioning, have got an interrelation. These endocrine glands, they produce hormones, and in the interrelations between the glands, the effect of hormones is directly found on the nervous system. Through the nervous system, again, the muscular system and all the activities of the body. We can understand it by an example that whenever there is a stimulation for anger in a person, the external stimulation is accepted by the brain through the nervous system, and everything is then transformed to the endocrine system through the limbic system, which is situated in the frontal lobe of the brain. This limbic system is directly connected with the endocrine system. From limbic system, certain message in the form of chemical hormones are released, for example, through the pituitary gland, and that affects the thyroid gland or the adrenal gland or the gonads. These are the glands which act under the direct supervision of pituitary gland. The hypothalamus is situated in our limbic system, and it is so powerful that according to the message from the hypothalamus, the pituitary will react, and according to the directions of pituitary gland, the other glands will react. These glands will produce those hormones, say for example the ACTH in the adrenal gland, and that will have a direct effect on the autonomous nervous system through the working of the sympathetic part of the nervous system, which prepares a person for fight or flight. In the case of anger, when a person becomes angry and tries to use his force over other person, the ACTH will stimulate the sympathetic part of our autonomous nervous system, which will ask the body to prepare itself for fighting. The anger produced thus will be expressed in all his actions, in the muscular activities, in the postures of his face and everything, and his behavior, his action will be known as the action of an angry person. This is usually happening every time whenever there is a stimulation and whenever the endocrine glands come into play. The endocrine glands are in a way the stimulator of our impulses, and the instincts, which are the basic biological forces in every living being, they are all connected with our impulses. They are the primal drives or the primal urges which have their own existence, basic in our structure, basic in our existence, in our personality, and these all have a very powerful effect on the endocrine working. When we find that a person who is a very intelligent person, otherwise who is a very religious person, and even a person who wants to practice spirituality in his life, is a spiritual practitioner. In spite of all this, whenever the endocrine glands are commanded by the impulses to work against the spiritual principles, the person finds himself incapable to have the other decision than the decision made by our impulses and primal urges. In this way, we find that in many of our actions, the people, that is man, acts more like an animal, or even his actions and feelings are bestial feelings, and he cannot overcome these, and therefore whole of his behavior and action becomes vitiated. As we can see that all these things result in more and more bondage of karma or contamination of his soul. Therefore, what is required is not only intelligence, but what is nowadays called as emotional intelligence. All our emotions, all our feelings, they are all under the control of the impulses and instinctual drives, and because we cannot overcome through mere intellectual power, we have to create that emotional intelligence through which we can overcome these natural processes or primal drives and activities of our instincts, and we can become more human in our behavior than what we are in our normal life. This is the very important part of our spiritual meditation practice. In this way, we have to understand very clearly the mechanism of our action and behavior in relation to the mechanism of arousal of our impulses, which are caused by our instincts. You know, the instincts may be natural instincts and they may be learned instincts, but the instincts themselves are very subtle forces. They have got their seat somewhere in our unconscious or subconscious mind, and therefore we cannot have a direct impact on them. Whatever we do with the help of our intelligence, that we can do only in our conscious level of mind. In this way, whatever we do with the help of our intelligence in our conscious mind have actually not that much effect on the instinctual or impulsive forces or emotional forces working in our subconscious mind. This practice of perception of psychic centers is very important from this point of view. We can bring about a change at our subconscious mind level or even unconscious mind level through meditation, through the learning of perception of our psychic centers, and in this way we can do what we desire to do, what we hope to do, what we resolve to do. You know, there are many people in the world who make a resolution in the morning They make a strong resolve, I will not lose my temper today. But alas, he finds that very next moment when there is some incident in which his anger is stimulated from within, he cannot overcome the anger, he indulges in anger very badly, and all the repercussions occur automatically. This is the problem with everyone today, not only with people who live worldly life, but those people who want to live a spiritual life, people who are religious minded, people who make such resolution every day, and still they cannot bring about the congruence between their thought and action. There is discrepancy between their thought and action. There is discrepancy between their preachings and precept. The discrepancy is there between the practice and the preaching. We have to think very deeply why these things happen, and in that context only we can understand the importance of this perception of psychic centers. According to modern science, now it is very clear that the whole mechanism of our attitude and behavior is in the hand of nervous system and endocrine system. Both these systems are very important, not only from the bodily functions or the daily functions, the routine functions of our life, but they are very important because they are responsible for our action, for our deeds, for our behavior in daily life, and they have got such a powerful force that all intellectual resolutions, intellectual knowledge, all the bookish religious preachings, they become futile, they become null and void, and we lead the same life which we do not want to do. Anger, fear, haughtiness, all these are our emotional impulses. All these are induced or they are aroused because of the endocrine hormones. Automatic cycle which is working there within us is responsible for this. Certain stimulus comes and we become angry. Another stimulus comes and there is the arousal of our sexual desire. A third condition comes and which stimulates fear, and in this way every time the stimulation of our impulsive emotional mechanism, emotional system is there. The limbic system is the seat of our emotional management. It is internally connected with the nervous system as well as the endocrine system. And as it is believed that still the animal brain, which is the remnant of the evolution of billions and billions of years, is still there. It is still working there. It has got still the upper hand in all our behavior and attitude. And because of this bestial urges, the primal drives, a person cannot do what he thinks or what he is trying to do with his intellectual power. Still, man is the only animal, only creature on the world who possesses the reasoning mind. He can make his reasoning mind more powerful with the help of this meditational system. This meditational system is not only thinking, it is not only conceiving, it means to increase the power of control through the proper functioning of our neuroendocrine mechanism. We know now through the researches of medical science and modern science that the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, and such glands are responsible for controlling the emotions or impulses which are aroused by the hormones of the adrenal gland or the gonads. And if through the practice of meditation, of perception, we can make these upper glands, hypothalamus, pituitary gland, the pineal gland, the thyroid gland, more powerful in the sense that their power of control increases. They can inhibit the arousal of negative emotions, negative feelings from the very beginning. Then we can improve upon our character, we can improve upon our conduct, and we can become actually holy people, pious people with pure intention, with pure action and pure mentality. This is in short the very importance, great importance which we have to understand first before we actually practice these perception of psychic centers. Now the psychic centers are situated all over the body, from the lower part of the spinal cord where is situated the center of energy, and then when we go upward there are other centers. All these 13 centers are there. You can see them. These centers are situated in our conscious element. As if a field is there, and at every center our conscious field of force is very powerful. Through meditational practice we can manage them properly, and when we become successful in proper management of these psychic centers, we get the power of control, the power of restraining our negative feelings, our negative attitudes, negative mentalities, and we can become actually the real spiritual person. We usually start our meditation on these psychic centers from the below centers and gradually concentrate our attention, focus our concentration on upper centers one by one. For example, if we start from the center of energy, we go from the center of energy to the center of health and so on. Every time you have to concentrate your mind on each center. In the beginning, a practitioner tries to concentrate his mind fully on one center, roughly say for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and tries to perceive the subtle vibrations of vital energy taking place there, of consciousness or the self taking place there, and together with that also the various biochemical reactions going in the body, in that part of the body particularly, and that is also felt or that is also perceived during the perception of psychic centers. In this way, this is the technique how he has to proceed. He has to spend roughly 2 to 3 minutes on each center. From center of energy, he will go to the center of health. He will concentrate there for 2-3 minutes. Then the next center, it is situated in the portion of our navel. This is called the solar plexus. This is the center of bioelectrical production of our energy, and it is called the Tejas Kendra. So this energy is very helpful for us to increase our power, our energy. The next center is the center of bliss, situated right in the middle of the chest, near the heart. There we do our meditation, it is called the center of bliss. It is actually the center where our internal joy, the state of bliss, gets aroused automatically after a good practice of psychic centers, and we find that our normal life, there is a kind of a eulogy, a kind of bliss felt there. Therefore it is called the center of joy. It is the spiritual joy or the spiritual ecstasy. The next center is that which is situated in the throat, the center of purity. And in this way you can see the centers are there as shown in the chart. Each center is to be concentrated upon, and every center we have to concentrate the mind from the front up to the back of our body. Because the center is not only at single point, it is spread over like a field from the front up to the back. So every time we have to move from the front up to the back in a straight line, just like a pencil of light penetrates inside. We can imagine, we can visualize as if our concentration is penetrating inside as a ray of light is penetrating from the torch spreading in front. So in this way we can imagine our entire attention spreading inside and then concentrating the center at the center with the concentration of our mind, and we can feel the actual vibrations, sensations there. We have to perceive them for a long time, and in this way we can awaken our psychic centers. The caution is, the warning is that you should never go from above to below. The reason is that the upper centers are the powerful centers for controlling the arousal of our negative emotions due to the arousal of lower centers. When we meditate on the lower centers, of course, we increase our energy, our power. But if we don't meditate at the same time on the upper centers, there is the risk that there may be the arousal of the negative emotions or feeling, and if we don't control with the help of the upper centers, then there is the risk that these negative attitudes or emotions may become harmful for us. So that's why this is the way, this is the technique. You first meditate on the lower center, then gradually move upwards up to the highest center, that is the top of the head, the center of knowledge. Sometime if you have got a short of time, that is if you want to practice only for a few minutes, then you can even do one or two upper centers in the end, and that will help you in controlling the arousal of the negative attitudes, which are negative feelings which are aroused due to the awakening of our lower centers. So this is the way how you have to practice. This is the technique of our perception of psychic centers, and by practice you will find that gradually you can feel the subtle vibrations which take place there. No? And gradually you have more concentration. The concentration becomes more and more penetrative, more and more powerful, and that gives the result. So in this way you can practice this exercise, psychic centers, perception of psychic centers, and with the help of this you can manage your own attitude and behavior, you can develop your own character. Now we have to find out how much benefit we get from this practice of psychic centers. The first and very important benefit we get is the stimulation of our center of joy, center of bliss. You know, this is the center which can give you a supply of an inner feeling of contentment, inner feeling of peace and blissfulness. In our daily worldly life, always we remain stimulated by the external circumstances and conditions so much that even in the moments of peace or silence, we cannot remain in that state of joy. This is our handicap in our daily life. Every time there is some kind of miserable thought, some kind of painful feeling from within, and it makes our life wretched. Sometimes without any reason, that is irrational feeling of fear, of anxiety, of pain. Such things go on happening, and that makes our life miserable. So, if we can arouse our center of joy, actually speaking in the term of medical terminology, there are certain internal chemicals which are responsible for the feeling of pain, which may be only a mental feeling, and that takes place in some portion of our brain. It is called as the PAG or amygdala. These are the spaces, these are the places in our brain where certain biochemical production are made. But when we arouse our center of joy and have an effect on our mind, then there is another kind of secretions from within. It is called as endorphin, which kills the pain. Suppose there is a pain due to some disease, but if endorphin is aroused, if endorphin is secreted within this area, that affects the whole brain, and the feeling of pain is always is removed, and a person becomes completely painless. Not only that, but he experiences an inner joy, inner blissful state, even in very, very critical conditions. So this is the way to live a happy life, a happy and healthy life. The center of joy is very important. All centers are connected with this. If you stimulate the center of joy, that will have an effect on other centers also, and due to that we get this state. And a good practitioner of spiritual exercises, he remains always in such state in spite of the other conditions. Once upon a time, there was a camp of the Western people, international camp, in which one Professor Dr. Glendy Page, he came from Hawaii University. After practicing for several days, once in a night session, after the session was over, he approached Acharya Sri Mahapragya Ji and he said, Gurudev, today I was practicing this perception of psychic centers, and suddenly I found that I became so much filled up with the feeling of such joy or such blissful experience I can't even express, and I can't even imagine. I am a person from United States. We people of United States cannot even imagine that such kind of feeling a person can have. Although we have got all kinds of material facilities and things and objects, but in spite of that we can't imagine. So this is an example, as illustration. It is really a fact that if you can manage your psychic centers properly, if you can utilize your own inbuilt mechanism to create this state of feeling within yourself, you can lead a better life, and actually a life which we can call a life of a spiritual practitioner, sadhak. You know, sadhak means a spiritual practitioner. You have to become a spiritual practitioner not only during the hours of practice, but in the daily routine of your life. So this is the best benefit, the most important benefit which we accrue from the practice of psychic centers. Another benefit is again the same which we get during the practice of our practice of perception of body, Sariri Preksha. During Sariri Preksha, you also get the evenness of vital energy. In this practice of psychic centers, the perception of psychic centers, the flow of vital energy is regulated. In normal conditions, a worldly life conditions, a person always has a tendency that the flow of vital energy is in the downward direction. Now when you have learned to make your psychic centers more powerful, your power of control is increasing, and in this way you are a better spiritual person, automatically the flow of vital energy is directed upwards. It is called Chetanaka Urdhvarohan. That is the upstream of our consciousness, of our spiritual energies, of our vital energy flow, which will help you again more and more in controlling the negative emotions, in controlling the patience, the anger, the haughtiness, the deceit, the greed, the fear, the sexual arousal, and so on. So this is what is the spiritual destination. This is actually the goal which we want to attain through our spiritual life, through our spiritual practice, and that can happen only if the flow of vital energy is directed more times in the upward direction than in the downward direction. The whole personality changes. There is a total change, a total transmutation of personality, transformation of personality, that a person becomes a true spiritual person. In spite of living, of course, the worldly life he has to live, but still his action, his behavior, his mood, his whole character is certainly a character of a spiritual person, and in this way he can attain a better health and live a happy life. We understand that every time a person is under the influence of his kashaya, patience, anger, etc., every time has got an upper hand in his life, and in spite of trying to become a spiritual person, he cannot become. The bookish knowledge, the scholarship which he attains through intellectual development, it is important of course, but it has no further effect on the life, on the action and behavior. So in this way it is very easy to understand the importance of psychic centers, which is very important from the point of view that the aim of a spiritual sadhak should be, ultimate aim should be purity of psyche, purity of soul, and removal of the contamination of karmic bondage. There are also effects in the social field, because when a person lives such life, and if these people, the number of such people who live spiritual life, who live a really religious life, a pious life, increases, there is a better social health. Today we find so many social diseases and disorders. There is a problem of corruption everywhere. There is the problem of immoral actions everywhere in the society. The moral values have undergone the higher state and have become deteriorated. So how to make a better social health atmosphere? Through this practice, we find that we can make a better human society, a better community, if people of the community and society all together make a resolution that we all together will practice this kind of meditation and improve our behavior and attitude, then we can make them more moral, more developed in the field of character. The values, moral values will be actually practiced by them, and in this way a better social health can be produced. So in this way there are so many benefits that accrue from this. I think that in short I have explained, and more you want to know, you can go through the books.